Real Virginia is produced by the Virginia Farm Bureau. Farming, it's all good. Visit our website at vafarmbureau.org.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay, Atlantic to Appalachia, home in my heart always.
Hello everyone and welcome to Real Virginia, a show about Virginia agriculture and the people who produce all of the wonderful products we enjoy.
Governor McAulife says he sees a bright future in the new year for Virginia's agriculture economy. We're cooking up a tangy meatball recipe for your bowl game parties, and it takes a great deal of hard work to succeed as a young farmer. We'll meet one couple that also are leaders in their community.
Welcome back everyone. We're here at Jamestown Settlement, a living museum, and not far from this site is where American agricultural trade actually began. And agriculture is big business in the Commonwealth and not just here at home. Governor McAulife told Virginia's farmers about the importance of the expansion of agricultural trade overseas and what that means to their bottom line.
Governor McAulife told Virginia's farmers that he wants Virginia to become the East Coast capital of agricultural trade during the Virginia Farm Bureau Federation's annual convention in Hot Springs. The farm sector is already Virginia's largest industry, accounting for $70 billion in economic impact. And with the current economic climate looking pretty dim for Virginia, the governor wants to do all he can to grow the farm economy. McAulife said U.S. Department of Defense spending cuts have been painful, particularly in Northern Virginia, and that the effect of possible future federal mandatory spending cuts could be devastating to the state.
Right now, the proposals are of $115 billion of cuts. We are the #1 recipient. So that's why every day I talk about we need to move Virginia away from being reliant on the federal government and building the new Virginia economy. And that's why agriculture and forestry are so important to doing that.
McAulife cited numerous trade missions that he has orchestrated since his inauguration and shared a lengthy list of countries with whose ambassadors he has met to nurture trade. The governor said the lifting of the Chinese ban on poultry imports from Virginia was a huge win for the state.
Every one of these meetings I talk about, we need you to buy more Virginia products. I want to see Virginian-grown products all over the globe.
While the governor is the chief spokesperson on trade missions, the Virginia Secretary of Agriculture and Forestry has been traveling the world for years building connections to boost farm exports. Secretary Todd Haymore says that's the only way to grow the state's farm economy.
When you think about the world's population and that 90% of the consumers live outside of the United States, that's a lot of people. That's a huge markets. And we need to be sure that we're out there competing. We have boots on the ground, and that's why we decided to open trade offices in China, India, Russia, United Kingdom, Mexico, Costa Rica, and Canada.
Virginia's third nationally in ag exports, and McAuliffe's goal is to see them rise above the $3 billion a year level. One factor that will help promote farm trade is expansion of the Panama Canal in 2016. Currently, the Port of Virginia is the only East Coast facility that can accommodate the larger vessels that will be passing through the canal.
That is a strategic advantage for Virginia. We have about a 4 to 5 year head start, and let's fill these super tankers back up with agriculture and forestry and manufactured products right here from Virginia. We need to capitalize on this important issue for us.
Earlier this year, the U.S. Department of Agriculture announced that U.S. farm exports set a new record, increasing 7.8% over 2013.
Farm and forestry exports have always been a crucial part of Virginia's economy. The first shipment of tobacco from the Old Dominion in 1614 was the cash crop that saved the struggling colony. Farm exports reached their modern peak in 2012 when they topped $2.6 billion worth of products. Topping the list were soybeans, soy meal and soybean oil, lumber and logs, unmanufactured leaf tobacco, grains and animal feed, pork, poultry and seafood, raw peanuts, cotton, and wine. Virginia's recent top foreign farm customers are China, Canada, and Switzerland. The Port of Virginia in Norfolk offers world-class shipping facilities, making it one of the busiest ports on the East Coast.
I'm Mark Viette. Coming up on In the Garden, it's for the birds. Stay with us.
I feel that family farms are very important because it's not just a living or occupation, it's a way of life. We live, work, and play right here in one location.
The grandchildren are around, and as often as they can, they'll come and say, "Grandma, can I help?"
There's a lot of challenges, but by having to be a family operation, it makes it all more enjoyable.
This is what I do, it's my livelihood, I enjoy doing it. This is my hobby, it's my vocation. It's a wonderful place to enjoy life with my wife, my children and grandchildren.
We're putting out a product for other people to drink and consume. We hope they like milk and cheese and ice cream and butter and all those good things.
What I've always done is what I enjoy doing. It's what I hope my family will continue to do in the future.
I'm Gerald Heatwell.
I'm Anita Heatwell,
I'm Monty Heatwell,
and I'm dedicated to dairy, our cows, our milk, and our land.
Wintertime is the perfect time to feed birds from your garden, and Mark Viette shows us how you can mix seeds to attract all different kinds of species.
Many of us like to enjoy the outdoors during the winter months. A lot of us like to watch birds and other animals maybe in our yard. But on the other hand, we might be kind of shocked when you go out to buy some of these bird seed blends that some can be quite expensive. Beyond that, you have to be very careful. Some of the blends that you see have a lot of things in them that birds don't like. The birds actually scratch some of the big millet, large millet, the milo. These are things that are in the blends to really keep the cost down, but it's of little or almost no value to the birds. A couple things you want to keep in mind. Black oil sunflower is one of their favorites, so I really like to use maybe 80% black oil sunflower, maybe even a little more. Whatever you give your birds, just like for us, it needs to be relatively fresh. If any of the ingredients you're using smell weird or sour or moldy, I recommend, don't feed the birds just like we wouldn't eat it ourselves. This is just some quinoa seed, and I do recommend, instead of using some of these little bags you buy them in with Swiss stems, you're going to want to, when you're done, put them in Ziploc bags or some type of sealed bag to keep them fresher. So in this case, I'm just going to use, this is like cooking, I don't measure exactly. I'm going to use about 2 or 3 tablespoons, because when you add these special mixes, you're going to get birds like pine siskins, goldfinch, titmice, doves, and depending on where you live, you may get grosbeaks and other birds if you're in some of the colder areas. I sometimes will go ahead and use things like even celery seed. Birds love celery seed. And so this was only like, probably 85 cents, but it'll give me, 2 tablespoons of this. This will last me the whole winter. And dill seed at the same time, I will just use dill seed. I'll use about the same amount, 2 or 3 tablespoons. Just mix it, and if you've got kids or family, they can also help. This is fennel seed that was collected from the garden, so you can use a little bit of the fennel seed that they will eat. Then you can get hulled millet. Now this is millet that does not have the hulls. The hulls on it require a little more work for the birds, but this is hulled millet, and you use maybe a little more of this, maybe about 1/4 cup. And for those of you who really have difficulty measuring, you can have the 1/4 cup right here and put that in there like that. Pumpkin seed. Birds love pumpkin seed. And maybe again about 1/2 cup, so you can just come in like this and use pumpkin seed, because a lot of the birds enjoy pumpkin seed at the same time. Then, if you have any leftover nuts, pecans and things, then it is important that the nuts are somewhat fresh. And in this case, I'm going to take 1/2 cup. And what I'll do is put it in my hand and I will crush it. and just crush it in my hand. So you don't have one large bird like a blue jay walk off with it, because again, the titmice really enjoy. Then at the very end, I will just take some uncooked, unsalted peanuts, and sometimes I will crush these too a little bit, but I'll mix this all together and then go in here and completely mix this. And when I'm done, I'll have seed or a blend that is more expensive, at least in its appearance, than anything out there. But for you, it's inexpensive, and the birds are gonna love you. It is important not to overfeed the birds. So try to be sure that the birds have cleaned everything before you feed them again. You don't really want to starve them, but you don't want them to cost you needless money. Within 50 feet of where I'm standing, we have close to a dozen feeders. Don't be afraid to put all your feeders in a small area. And what you can also do is have a special blend for maybe 2 or 3. This one here just has sunflower. So I just might come in and add a few of those pecans to this feeder. Or I might just decide to come in and pour some of my special blend just out on the feeder, like this. But we have different feeders. We even have suet feeders, so make sure that you give your birds suet. You can make your own suet with your own blend at the same time, or you can purchase it. And I like to use some of the suets that tend to be just a little firmer, but really they will attract woodpeckers, nuthatches, and chickadees. In fact, if your birds really like the blend you make, you can actually get chickadees to come almost and land on your hand to eat the special blend you've just made. I'm Mark Viette. Join me next time in the garden.
For more garden tips, go to inthegardenradio.com.
Up next on Real Virginia, we have a recipe that's sure to please all sports fans this time of year from the heart of the home.
Horses, dogs, food, and fun. It's all coming March 27th to the 29th at the Virginia Horse Festival at the Meadow. Experience 3 days of equestrian and family-friendly activities. Shop vendors selling trailers, boots, barns, and food. Watch the Central Virginia Agility Club show off their canines expertise. Attend clinics, demonstrations, and seminars. Cheer on the Extreme Mustang Makeover East Coast Finals. And don't miss the Parade of Breeds. Learn more at virginiahorsefestival.com. It's the Virginia Horse Festival at Meadow Event Park. Don't miss it. Winter is a great time to enjoy beef, one of Virginia's largest agricultural commodities. This high-quality protein source is rich in vitamins B12 and B6, along with selenium, zinc, and niacin. Beef is the second most valuable agricultural product in Virginia, generating $708 million in cash receipts for farmers. The typical cattleman in the Old Dominion raises calves on grass pasture until they're a year old, then sells them to an out-of-state feedlot. There, they're fed a richer diet of grain until they're ready to be processed into a wide variety of meat cuts, from high-quality filet mignon to hamburger, and points in between. There's also a growing local beef movement where farmers sell beef cuts directly to consumers at farmers markets. Some custom local butchers are also gaining ground. Any way you cut it, beef is a delicious and important part of Virginia agriculture.
If you don't want to resort to colonial cooking to impress your football fans at your bowl party, perhaps you'll want to try this recipe. Carissa Jackson shows us a terrific recipe for tangy teriyaki meatballs in the heart of the home.
Hi, I'm Carissa Jackson for Heart of the Home at the kitchen at the Meadow Event Park. And today we're going to make a teriyaki style meatball. So when you're getting ready for your holiday parties and you want to make a really good and delicious appetizer, a lot of time our go-to thing is meatballs. But we go and get them frozen out of the freezer section and throw some grape jelly on it and call it a day. But these are a homemade meatball that are sure to knock everyone's socks off, and they're really different than your traditional meatball. So today we're going to start off with 1 pound of ground beef, a ½ pound of ground pork. We have 1 tablespoon of minced garlic, 3 tablespoons of teriyaki sauce. We have 1/3 cup of water chestnuts, a ½ cup of panko breadcrumbs, and 1 egg. So this recipe is going to start off a lot like making meatloaf. We're going to put everything in one large bowl and mix. In this recipe, you can also add 2 to 3 green onions if you like, chopped up. All right, here's the fun part. You definitely want to make sure that your meat is evenly distributed since you're using 2 different kinds. That way you don't have some meatballs that are more beefy and more meatballs that have more pork in them. Just as a little added note, I typically take the beef and the pork out about 30 minutes to an hour before I make this recipe. The reason I do that is because if you've ever tried to stick your hands in some extremely cold ground beef or ground pork when you're making a meatloaf, you know that you can almost freeze your hand off. So this makes it a lot easier for the mixing. All right, now that we have everything good and mixed, we want to go ahead and start making our meatballs. We want to make these appetizer size, so we don't want them to be more than 1 inch to 1.5 inches thick. You can make them bigger, but if you do, then you would absolutely have to adjust your cooking time. Right now, we're going to cook them at 400 for 20 minutes, but if you were to make them 2 inches or more, you might want to add 5 or 10 minutes or so to the recipe. Later, once these are cooked, we are going to toss them in some more teriyaki sauce and some sesame seeds, and they'll be ready to serve. All right, now we have a full pan of fully rolled meatballs. We're going to go ahead and stick these in the oven at 400 for 20 minutes. All right, now our meatballs are out of the oven, so what we're going to do is take them directly from the pan and put them into a large mixing bowl. And this is where we are going to stir them up with a little more teriyaki sauce. You can put as much on as you like, and some sesame seeds. I'm using about a cup of teriyaki sauce and a handful of sesame seeds. You want to stir them until they are all coated with the glaze. Beef is a top commodity in Virginia as well as pork, and so it was great that we were able to combine both of those ingredients in this recipe. And here you are, teriyaki style meatballs. I'm Caressa Jackson for Heart of the Home. Come and get it.
Recipes from the Heart of the Home can be found on the Virginia Farm Bureau website at vafarmbureau.org.
We all want healthy rivers and streams, but we can't do that without help from Virginia's landowners. Resource Management Plans, or RMPs, are part of a voluntary program that helps farmers get credit for cleaning up our waters. And once you have an RMP, you are exempt from any new water quality requirements for 9 years. The Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation has funds available to help you implement these plans. Contact the department today to learn more. Thank you.
This message sponsored by Virginia's agriculture community.
The next generation of Virginia farm families has had to get a little creative to get their businesses going. But as Dave Miller reports, one young farm family is being honored for their hard work and leadership on and off the farm.
Brent and Margaret Arbogast live in Lacey Spring, Virginia, with their 3 young children ages 2 through 6. They own 250 acres and lease an additional 1,600 acres of primarily pasture land for their beef cattle operation. They stay busy raising cow calves and broiler chickens. With 5 chicken houses, they raise almost 900,000 birds every year. They also raise hay and corn.
My grandfather started farming. He was a turkey farmer and a beef cattle farmer. Then my father followed suit, and my brother and I followed in his footsteps.
Brent and Margaret live in one of Virginia's largest farm communities, where many operations could win awards for cleanliness and production. You can quickly see by the excellent condition of their poultry houses and cattle barns that a lot of care and hard work has gone into this farming operation. But the Virginia Farm Bureau's Young Farmer Achievement Award they garnered last month is for more than just being excellent farmers. Both of them have been leaders in their community and in Farm Bureau circles.
It was just a huge surprise to us when we won, and it's just a big honor and privilege to be recognized for something that we do every day and something that we love to do. It's taken me a long time to get to where I am now. I've always hoped for the best and prepared for the worst in everything I've done, and I think that's a big secret, or a big advantage. I just try never to chew off more than I can handle at one time, and that's probably been my success. We would love to buy more land, to own more land, versus leasing so much land. The lease land is just so hard to find and it's hard to keep. So, we need to do a good job to where we can afford to buy more land.
Margaret Arbogast hails from Southside Virginia and met Brent while taking biology courses at Virginia Tech. She had an interest in large animal veterinary medicine, earned a pharmacy degree, and works part-time off the farm. She enjoys meeting and helping neighbors and other farmers. Farming is definitely in her family's DNA.
The kids on the farm is great. They have there's always lots of work to do, but it's fun work that they don't mind doing. Brent's always outside, whether it's raining or snowing. His job will always have to be done, and he's always done it with a smile on his face. He's just happy to be outside and doing what he loves.
You're your own boss, but it's something different every day. I really enjoy calving season. I just love to see new life, on the farm. And that's probably my favorite time of year. We truly love our animals, and we truly love what we do, and we take excellent care of our livestock, and we take a lot of pride in what we do. And I just want people to know that we really care what we're doing, and when we sell our calves, we sell an excellent product that goes to the consumer.
Margaret says the award gives them confidence to pursue their dream, knowing that they are doing things right. After all, a farm is a great place to raise a family.
They love horses. They have rabbits they take care of. They help with the lambs. They help me bottle feed and walk through the fields with them. So there's a lot of fun out there for kids on a farm. We've also done a few field trips for kindergarten and first graders out to our farm. They take a tour, see the garden, hop on the tractor, different things that they would never have the chance to see before.
We love our chickens.
Margaret says that farming is a 24/7 job. She and Brent search their fields at midnight looking for lost lambs. But farming has given them a great life, and they wouldn't trade it for anything. That's the attitude that keeps bringing young families to agriculture and keeping our nation's oldest industry alive. In Rockingham County, Virginia, this is Dave Miller reporting.
That's going to do it for this edition of Real Virginia. We are so glad you could join us to celebrate the bounty Virginia has to offer. Whether it's in your home, your garden, or your landscape, we're proud to say that this is Real Virginia. So for everyone from the Virginia Farm Bureau, thanks for watching. Make it a good week.
Home will always be Virginia, between the Blue Ridge and Chesapeake Bay.